on minute 17 of Primink's video, the Instagram model who fabricated her entire life, Primink talks about YouTubers who believe that Lillee Jean and her mother are telling the truth. And I'm sure you all noticed the red-haired woman and the Lisa Simpson doll in the middle of the screen and wonder, who is this person? What's her story? How can she believe Lillee Jean? Well, here we are to tell you all about it. But before we begin, there is a very important disclaimer. Lillee Jean and her mom/manager are known to submit copyright strikes to creators who make content critical to them. Now, the US Copyright Act does provide protection for copyrighted content, but it also lists a number of circumstances in which this protection is exempted. In copyright law, this is known as fair use. All copyrighted content in this video falls under fair use. If copyrighted content is used in a transformative way, like a meme, like a parody, or like a montage of video clips and images in a voiceover video, that's all fair use. And if copyrighted content is used for the purpose of education, commentary, or criticism, that's also fair use. Let's look at an example.
I should mention that if you are Redditing while at work, that is illegal. You can't do that while you're at work. You can lose your job.
Lillee losing her job and being illegal are two different things. There is no law against using Reddit at the workplace or any other social media for that matter. In fact, if you work in online marketing, using social media might be an integral part of your job. And some industries these days rely almost entirely on advertising on Reddit in order to have any sort of profit. Like the sex toy industry, the electric vagina industry, the hand lotion for men industry, and of course the fedora industry. So no, Lillee, using Reddit in a workplace is not against the law, and in fact, you shouldn't be giving legal advice on YouTube in the first place. But then again, you and your mom take legal advice from a guy who sounds like a tweaker having a seizure.
Atheism, transophobia,
and who can't even pronounce DMCA properly.
the whole DCMA.
More on him later. So there you go, that's a very clear example of fair use. I took a small sample from a video and I made a commentary and criticism after it. But what would happen if, despite this very easy to understand explanation, Lillee Jean and her mom/manager decide to still proceed with copyright striking this video? Well, here's what would happen. I will counter the claim of copyright infringement and they will have 7 days to provide evidence to YouTube that copyright infringement has in fact occurred. And if they don't provide evidence, their YouTube account can be terminated. And if they decided to proceed anyway and provide bogus evidence to YouTube, I would fight it in court and they would lose. And when that happened, they would be liable for perjury, which in America is a felony with a sentence of up to 1 year in a federal prison. So Lillee and Laur, if that's the way you want to go, think about it very carefully. Alright guys, sorry for this long introduction, but it was necessary.
And now for something completely different.
My role in the Lillee Jean saga. What? Hey baby, what's up? Oh, I'm great. I'm in Paris with my daddy. Not my dad, silly, my daddy. Yeah, I know, I saw the screenshot. What was that? I was on this video about Lillee Jean. Why? Oh, that hangout. Yeah, I remember that. It's okay, I didn't say anything embarrassing on that hangout. It's all good. It doesn't matter if it's a big channel. Like, it's fine, I didn't say anything bad. Don't worry about it. I'm serious. Well, I'm flying back to Australia in like a couple of hours. So when I get back, I'll have a look. Alright, baby. Thank you. Thank you for calling. Bye. 3,000 views. That's nothing. What the fuck? What is this? Oh my god, what's going on? 3.8 million views! Oh my god! that moment, I realized I was fucked. And I had to do something about it. And something being, of course, this video. But before I get to the part where I got involved in this drama, there is a lot of ground to cover. So make yourself a drink, slip into something comfortable, sit back, and enjoy the saga of Lillee Jean. 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 The saga. Her mother says she's the makeup queen, but she caused a scene when people doubted that Lillee Jean's really the one. With a million fans, Instagram. She says she is the one. With a million fans, Instagram. People try to warn me, be careful what you do. Don't go around sending Lillee Jean anymore. At first I didn't listen, another fool I thought they would. They BS me through and through, not for the lies I see the truth. Lillee Jean is not an influencer, she's just a girl who claims that I am a troll. Insta don't matter. She says I am a troll. Insta don't matter. According to the annals of history, pun intended, this saga began in 2010 when a woman named Laur tweeted about her 9-year-old daughter's interest in modeling. Hashtag Lillee Jean LOL, this is hysterical, at Real Lillee Jean. Lillee Jean's rise to internet stardom was a bit of a bumpy ride. Like most of us mortals, the queen of makeup started small. In 2016, Lillee Jean created a website with makeup tutorials and blogs called The Eyeball Queen. And she also created accounts on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. In 2017, Lillee Jean's momager partnered with a management company in order to manage Lillee Jean's career. At around this time, Lillee Jean was a rising star on Instagram with over 100,000 followers on both accounts, Lillee Jean and The Eyeball Queen. At some point in the following year, Lillee Jean stopped calling herself The Eyeball Queen, and that account was renamed Jeannie's Management, momager's new management company. But apparently the new management worked like a miracle, because by October 2018, Lillee Jean reached 600,000 followers on Instagram. But Instagram followers was not the only achievement of Lillee Jean's meteoric rise to fame. She did multiple collabs with famous brands. She's been to multiple gala events. She was featured on a Cover Girl advertisement on Times Square. She was cover of Teen Vogue, and she was on Met Gala's red carpet. I mean, she was just everywhere, and everyone in the fashion industry couldn't stop talking about the rising star Lillee Jean, right? Well, of course nobody was talking about Lillee Jean, because none of those things happened.
Duh.
Well, some of them kinda happened, but they were greatly exaggerated by Lillee Jean, her management, and her fans. Fans, by the way, who are highly suspicious. 3 of them in particular really got people's attention. Shaniqua, a middle-aged African-American woman. Romana, a Latina from Brooklyn whose boyfriend Chico cheats on her with another Lillee Jean superfan named Matilda. And James D, a middle-aged camp gay man married to super famous fashion designer Mario Avala. He's not real. These 3 diehard fans all supposedly know each other and all know Lillee Jean in person. And they were basically the only people that until recently would show any support to Lillee Jean in social media, outside of course of Lillee Jean herself and her momager. Which is kind of weird considering that she has 1 million fucking followers. On these 3 accounts were stock photos. They are apparently fans of nobody else except for Lillee Jean. Their stories about meeting Lillee Jean and each other don't make any sense and are often self-contradictory. But the most damning fact about these fans is that there isn't one single picture of Lillee Jean with any of them, despite the fact that they all supposedly met in the wedding of James D and Mario Avala. Yes, people, Lillee Jean and her mom want us to believe that they all met in the wedding of this camp, gay, super famous fashion designer, and there are literally no pictures of the event whatsoever.
Bullshit.
Now, Lillee Jean and her momager had came up with all sorts of wacky explanations for these inconsistencies. But the fact is, there are no pictures of these individuals anywhere on the internet. And all attempts of having an interview with them have failed.
In an attempt to get to the bottom of James, Shaniqua, and Romana, I went to the source and reached out to them directly. I was met with a very hostile response from the fan page and was blocked by a few of the other accounts. I did hear back from James, though. While he was initially responsive to my request for an interview over the phone, he grew irrationally angry when I provided him with all the information he requested.
For these reasons, most people suspect that these accounts are either run by Lillee Jean or most likely by her momager. Now, all these things are quite bizarre, and it's no wonder that people got so interested in this story, when it was actually something else that made this drama grow as big as it is now. And that is the way Lillee Jean, and especially her manager, reacted to the criticism and backlash. In fact, the real protagonist in this whole drama is not Lillee Jean at all, it is her mom. The quintessential boomer, attack helicopter mom, Laur Trueman.
Laur Trueman is Mom Chopper.
Whenever someone in social media starts questioning Lillee Jean's analytics, post memes about Lillee Jean, or make any sort of criticism to Lillee Jean whatsoever, there is Laur, throwing tantrums, tagging law enforcement, accusing any critic of being a cyberbully, coming up with the most ludicrous conspiracy theories. Well, you get the idea. She's basically the fashion industry's Donald Trump without the fame and fortune, which makes her a very easy target for trolls. And yes, she has been trolled a lot. But if all of Laur's tantrums and threats had stayed in social media, it wouldn't be a big deal. The problem was when she started to affect people's real lives.
My name is Laur Trueman. I am from Genie's Management, Inc. I represent Lillee Jean, who is a social media celebrity. I have already emailed your company, but I'm directly also leaving you a phone number to call me. One of your employees, her name is, she is part of a team of unstable people that belong to Reddit that have been cyberbullying my client for the last week and a half. This seems to think that she has the right to also be a clinical psychologist and send obnoxious DMs to my client over the internet, including with Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. We have a screenshot. I'd like to share it with you. I should warn you that I am having a cyberbullying story date, and unfortunately, you have now become part of the story. Give me a call back. Bye-bye.
And Laur didn't stop there. She tried to get streamer and lawyer Nick Rikita disbarred because he had a conversation on his YouTube channel with Kiwi Farms' founder Joshua Noel Moon. Note that this conversation had nothing to do with Lillee Jean at all. She doxed and again contacted the place of employment of a completely random woman who had nothing to do with this story, because she mistakenly assumed that this woman was one of Lillee Jean's anonymous critics. She again doxed and contacted the place of employment of another person who had nothing to do with this story. That was the makeup artist known as Queen of Blending. And apparently the reason why Laur did that is because some anonymous person, without presenting any evidence, told Laur that Queen of Blending created the Reddit thread about Lillee Jean. She also called for people to mass flag a number of accounts on Twitter. And that's why people suspect that she was behind the suspension of Twitter account of makeup artist Lauren Elise. And finally, she also made a false DMCA claim on a video by YouTuber WCT Wildcat, while at the same time making false allegations about Wildcat on social media and asking a friend to send Wildcat this very threatening email. And all of this was only during the period between July and October 2019. Now, I believe that the main reason why Laur got so out of control in handling her critics was because she was alone. Which again is really weird considering that Lillee Jean has 1 million fucking followers. I mean, you would expect there would be a legion of fans defending Lillee Jean against the trolls and cyberbullies, right? But there wasn't anybody. It was only Lillee Jean and Laur. Well, and of course those fans that we spoke of before. And that was Laur's Calvary until she met this man, Steve McRae. This white knight, defender of the weak, the oppressed, and the cyberbullied. This graybeard, who for seemingly no reason at all, besides the kindness of his heart, probably 1 million followers have something to do with it, but hey, I'm just speculating, decided to help this poor woman fighting all of her battles on Twitter, day and fucking night. Steve McRae, also known as Steve McBoomer, Steve McCreep, Cheese McBoom, and a bunch of other nicknames, has history with me. I don't want to talk too much about him on this video. This video is not about him. If you want to know how I feel about this guy, I already made a video about that. What matters here is that I was friends with this guy at the time, and it was through this friendship that I got involved in this drama and that I ended up in that infamous stream. But before I talk about the stream itself, I just want to say that before that stream, I had very few interactions with Laur or Lillee Jean. I didn't know much about this story. I just assumed that Steve McRae knew who they were, that he did his homework and his research about them. So I just basically took everything McRae told me about this on face value. Looking back now, it's pretty obvious that McRae didn't do any research on them, didn't check any of the allegations and accusations that were made against Laur and Lillee Jean, because there was already quite a bit of evidence to support those claims made on Kiwi Farms and Reddit. But McRae just took Lillee Jean and Laur at their word like a fucking idiot. And I, of course, was a bigger fucking idiot for taking Steve McBoomer at his word. The reason why I wasn't so worried when I heard about Primink's video was that my recollection about that stream was that I didn't do that bad. I remembered making some criticism and giving advice to Lillee Jean and Laur, and rewatching that stream now, I feel that for the most part, I did okay. I really don't have much to regret about it. I mean, I did say some cringy and dumb shit, but considering the amount of information that I had, I actually did okay. For example, I did say to Lillee Jean that some of her comments about race were insensitive and were worthy of criticism. The criticism that I would make is that I think it is a bit insensitive to the whole to the history of slavery in America. You could have worded better. I know you were 15, okay. And I honestly think that bringing up that Africans own their own slaves, this is all true, but I think it's a little bit insensitive. And this is funny, at some point in that stream, I criticized people who call people's place of employment about internet drama, which was just a hilarious, accidental moment in that stream. Thunderfoot, I think, is one of the most reminded examples of people calling his employer, like lying to get him fired. That is just a level of...
It's beyond the pale. It's reprehensible.
Well, we do agree on that one, Stevie boy. What I have already done is I told my employers that I have a YouTube channel and they watch my videos. They are okay with it. I have no issues. So anyone who ever discover my employers and try to call them to get me fired will be wasting their fucking time. After this stream, I barely talked about Lillee Jean and Laur anymore. I, of course, had some doubts about their story, and I was also having some doubts about my friendship with McRae. Also, I was going through some hard time in my private life, so I wasn't really that involved in internet drama, but I was still following what was going on. In fact, if you go to CreepShow Art's video about Steve McRae, I left a comment there at the time. By the way, in the off chance that Shannon is watching this, honey, you have to update your video. Steve McRae is no longer feedspot's top 32nd atheist that every atheist should watch. He fell to 35th. Anyway, after CreepShow Art made her videos about Lillee Jean, this story reached a much wider audience and a lot more people got involved. Laur, Lillee Jean, and McRae, of course, called CreepShow Art a cyberbully, despite the fact that she only made criticism in her video, which she's totally entitled to do. And the same goes for the Arpanet, Lauren Chan, Diane Awesomelaser, Primink, or anyone who has made a video commenting on this topic. I mean, there is no reasonable justification to call these YouTubers who made commentary on this topic cyberbullies. You might disagree with what they are saying, but making commentary about it is not fucking cyberbullying. Get the fuck over it, boomers. And many of the issues raised in these videos are hardly even denied by Laur. She often admits to it. She thinks it's absolutely justifiable to dox people and try to get them fired if they criticize Lillee Jean. Lillee Jean, by the way, is 19 years old now. She's not a fucking child anymore, Mama Chopper. She's not immune to criticism. Also, it's important to remember that some of the people that were harassed and doxed by Laur had nothing to do with this story. There's no justification whatsoever for doxing these people and calling their workplace. But not only people who criticized Lillee Jean and Laur decided to insert themselves in this drama. We talked about Steve McRae before, but there is another eccentric streamer who decided to join Team Lillee Jean. Remember the guy that I mentioned in the beginning of the video? I don't know, take legal advice from a guy who sounds like a tweaker having a seizure.
Atheism, transphobia.
Let's talk about that guy. After watching some of his streams, I realized that one of the things that he likes to do a lot is to give legal advice to his guests. Despite the fact that he's not a lawyer and is not qualified to do that, so stop doing that. And to be honest, only Lillee Jean and Laur are desperate enough to take seriously any advice that this fool might give them. Because this guy is such an extraordinary example of constant self-ownage that it's impossible to think that he's legit. Like, for example, he usually goes by Defango, but he actually uses a bunch of other different names. And one of the names he uses is Elusive Man, which is a copyrighted character from the video game Mass Effect. And this character thinks he's this big badass, but he's in fact just a fucking puppet controlled by the real villain. So why would you call yourself that? That is not a cool character. You don't want to be that guy. Then there was this other moment in Defango's car crash interview with Lillee Jean and Laur, where he talks about how he lives in the head of his critics and haters.
I'm in your brain right now, living rent-free. You need to get some better curtains in here. Can I get a stove up in here?
But later in the interview, he does a YouTube search, and among his recent searches, the name Unirock shows up. Unirock is another streamer, and Defango is one of Unirock's main haters and detractors. So it's like, who's living on whose head again, Defango?
I'm in your brain right now, living rent-free. You need to get some better curtains in here.
Later in the interview, he also doxed the woman.
Wait, she deleted her Facebook, did she?
Oh, I'm not kidding you.
Or deactivated.
deactivated it. She deactivated the Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because then, like, I just have this archive thing. See, you can never run. You can never run.
Nobody can run. At the end of the day, nobody's going to ever be able to run.
And in another infamous stream, he tried to dox CreepShow Art.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw that right there into a nice little program that I have. That little program will basically allow me to utilize that email address to reconstitute a phone number so that we could then call this girl and be like, hey, are you going to come on the show and talk about this stuff? Was it Shannon? Shannon? What was that middle name? Ooh, should I say it?
He was also featured on a Daily Beast article as a conspiracy theorist who spreads misinformation and harasses people on the internet. But, according to him, Lillee Jean, Laur, and Mac Boom Boom, what he does is not real doxing, because the information that he puts on his streams is public information. Well, it's pretty obvious that these boomers have no idea what doxing is, so let's teach them. Doxing is the internet-based practice of researching and publicly broadcasting private or identifying information about an individual or an organization. The methods employed to acquire this information include searching publicly available databases and social media websites, hacking, and social engineering. So it's pretty clear that if you go to an internet archive during your stream to publicize information about a deleted account on Facebook, while making threats to that person, you are doxing them. So stop doxing people, you deranged boomers.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, toss salads and scramble.
How do you feel about this story?
Well, I feel that Lillee Jean needs help.
Go on.
Well, I feel like she was the victim of a controlling and out of control mother when it all started. But she's becoming more and more like her mother, and there are some glimpses of rage that she has sometimes, like some fits of rage, that I find kind of worrying.
This is what I want, and I'm tired of people telling me what they want for me. This is what Lillee Jean wants. You understand? Lillee Jean wants my mom to do... You need to stop.
Well, she's been dealing with this situation for quite some time.
Yeah, like, I do understand that it's very possible, very likely, that some people went too far in the trolling and mockery and even criticism. Now, I didn't see any of that, but sure, it's entirely possible and likely, but the thing about them is that they don't accept that people talk about them unless it's in a positive light.
Go on.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's the main problem with these wannabe e-celebs and influencers on the internet. Because you see, you might think that everything that you do is justified, but it's not up to you to decide how the internet is going to react to your arguments. It's not up to you to decide if people are going to accept your arguments or not. And to the casual viewer, this is just entertainment. And good entertainment needs good, compelling characters, conflict, and usually a villain. And Laur is the villain on this story. And whether that is fair or not, it doesn't really matter at this point anymore. Because nothing is going to change the fact that the general public has already decided that she is the bad guy. Laur decided to fight an impossible war against the internet and she lost. Most people understand that what they see on the internet is fake. Pretty much everybody who put their videos and photos on the internet does some enhancing on their looks. We always choose our best angles when we shoot a video or take pictures, and sometimes we use filters in Photoshop, and I'm guilty of doing that just like pretty much everybody else is. We might even exaggerate our stories sometimes, like I've never been to Paris and Brad Pitt is not my sugar daddy. And in my opinion, if enhancing your photos and videos and editing them is gonna make you feel a little bit better about yourself, I don't really see any problem with that. You're not really hurting anybody. But the level of make-believe in Lillee Jean and Laur's stories is just surreal. And I just think that most people just find it amazing that they maintain their story when it's so obvious that it's a complete fabrication. There was this stream where Laur was talking to the Arpanet on Skynet's podcast, where she pretty much admitted that she bought followers.
Does Lillee Jean's account have bot followers? So is that a yes?
I think that to a certain degree, everybody has bot followers here. I think that to a certain degree, everybody has bot followers here.
And this is probably the closest we're ever gonna get of Laur admitting to buy followers. The last development on this story was Lillee Jean admitting on a stream that she had a romantic relationship with an adult while she was a teenager. She tells her audience of teens and preteens, yes people, after all this notoriety, she finally has some real fans.
Oh, stop booing. There are dozens of us. Dozens!
So she tells her teen and preteen audience that it's totally okay for an adult to have a romantic relationship with a minor, as long as the relationship is not reported to the authorities and there is parental consent.
I've known him since I was 9 maybe, and dating together like 5 years. Yeah? What's wrong with that? See, this is why I don't want to put him on my stories, on my video, because I say that we're like 9 years apart and it's like a problem for people. And as long as you have consent from a parent, it's fine.
Now we all know where Lillee Jean and Laur get their legal counsel from, but it seems that this story is really getting a dark turn. Now who knows if this child grooming story is real or not? Lillee Jean and Laur are known to make shit up, but this is getting creepy. Originally, I had written a joke about them going to Dr. Phil's show, but after this stream, it seems like they're more suited for Chris Hansen's show. Now my final message to Laur is that Laur, you ruined your daughter's career. I really can't see Lillee Jean ever having a comeback from this. Her name is completely tainted. Now it's true that eventually people will move on and this story will die out. Unless of course you do end up on Dr. Phil or maybe Chris Hansen, who knows. But regardless, no big brand will ever want to associate with you and Lillee Jean. There seems to be this pathological need to be famous with them, as if being a celebrity is the only way to win in life. And this is very unhealthy emotionally, psychologically, and it's just plain false. There are many other ways of being successful in the fashion or makeup industry without being an Instagram influencer. And in all honesty, the two of them lack the professionalism, the sagacity, the resilience, and the grace that is necessary to be a respected celebrity in this industry. Just forget about it, Laur. It's not for you. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Laur and Lillee Jean will dismiss me, call me names, and gonna keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And just like every video criticizing them, they're not gonna take anything from it. But I imagine that the budget for bots is running out. And when it eventually runs out, Laur, what are you going to do? Laur, you're learning lessons you should really know by now. You gotta stop pretending the internet has called you out. But you just keep on trying, even though there's no return. And while you keep on lying, your kids don't wanna skid and burn. Well, it'd be Laur when you fresh out of pots, when they owe you stuff, you don't have enough to beat the Insta go Laur when you fresh out of pots, they owe you stuff, you don't have enough, you're just packed full of lies. Before I go, I just want to thank all creators who worked so hard compiling tons of information about this story, in particular CreepShow Art, the Arpanet, and Diane Awesomelaser. And I would tell you to go check their channels, but unfortunately the Arpanet decided to private or delete all his videos and he's not making any content anymore. But CreepShow and Diane are still making videos and you should really check them out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel, and a big thank you to all my subscribers and an ultra massive thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are fucking amazing. I'm Big Sarah Michel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.